Watches and Wonders 2026 is in full effect. I am not there, obviously. I am at home. I have work and family obligations, and I am not able to make it over to Geneva this year. I said the same thing last year. Hopefully next year I will be there. However, just because I'm not there doesn't mean I don't have opinions on the watches that are being released. Today, we're going to be talking about my favorite watches that have been released during Watches and Wonders 2026 thus far. So let's get into my first pick for Watches and Wonders 2026. There have been a lot of watches that have been released over the past few days. Many of those are from Rolex and TUDOR. I'm not going to talk about those watches here in this video because I'm not really that crazy about all of the releases that they've made thus far. They haven't really blown me away with anything, so I'm going to start with the ones that I think are really cool. The first ones that I want to talk about are from Moser. Moser released two new streamliners in collaboration with Reebok, and these are the Reebok Pump. Growing up as a kid, I owned pumps. Basically, they are sneakers that have air pockets throughout the sneakers, and there's a pump in the tongue of the sneaker, and you can just pump them up. It's like a half a basketball. It's made out of rubber. It's like a little pump that you pump up, and it becomes a snugger fit. That's the entire point of the pumps. Moser are known for doing some crazy things, and this is the reason why people love Mosers. I love this watch. I think it is such a cool idea. They have incorporated a pump on the side of the watch. So you're not getting a winding crown, you're getting a pump where you actually press the pump to wind the watch. This is a real collaboration, so that little button on the side of the Streamliner says pump on it. They're coming in two different colors, black and white. The black gets a black strap, the white gets a white strap. And you're getting some orange accents. That's the same color that the pump came in, that orange color. These are both getting quartz fiber cases. Now, this is something that I haven't seen before. It kind of looks like a mixture between a ceramic case and maybe a carbon fiber case. I'm not sure what it feels like in hand, if it's heavy, if it's light. I think it looks pretty cool, and it obviously gets the job done because these watches do look really good. You're getting a hand-wound movement inside. It is a Moser, so these are not cheap. They are around $40,000, which is a lot of money, and they are very limited to 250. For how cool these are, I think this is somewhat of a pretty good price. I know that sounds crazy, but I think these are a pretty good price, and these are really cool watches. The next four watches are Vacherons, and they are Vacherons that I have been waiting for them to make for a very long time. These are sportier versions of the Overseas. They're also dual times. They made a limited edition that I think these are obviously inspired by. They were the Everests. So the Everest limited editions, they made in a chronograph form and a dual time. These are only dual times. In fact, they're making one that looks almost exactly the same as that original Everest limited edition. These are in all titanium. You are getting grainy dials, which I absolutely love. You're getting straps that are made out of what looks like a fabric. I believe they're made out of a rubber, and you are getting different colors. There's a white, a green, a brown, and a blue. I absolutely love the dual time Overseas. I think it's one of the best looking dual times that you can get from the Holy Trinity. Actually, I think it's the best looking in my opinion. I've always been a very big fan of the Overseas. I think they are extremely underrated. These are coming in at $41,000. Yes, these are more expensive, but then again, what isn't more expensive these days? I really love these watches. I think they're extremely good looking, and I love that they've gone a little bit more sporty with the Overseas. Bremont are going to the moon, and they have released the watch that will be going to the moon. So they are going through a project where they will actually send a watch to the moon. It will never leave the moon. It will stay on the moon, and it's going there. I believe it's called the Griffin 1 mission. That's what this mission is. And it's going on a rover. It's going to be attached to that rover, and that rover will stay on the moon. So this is a watch that was not only going to be going to the moon, but will be staying on the moon forever. And this is an integrated bracelet chronograph that I think is really, really good looking. I immediately fell in love. It's a dual register chronograph, but it has some really cool lume on the dial. The dial looks like it has little dots all over it. Even the sub-registers are lume. They said it's inspired by spacecraft's solar arrays. And you could definitely see it. It looks like a solar array on the dial, and you're getting all of that lumed. The integration of the bracelet into the case is really good looking as well. It's sort of like a barrel-shaped case. It's layered, there's a black ceramic bezel on it, and it's in 904L stainless steel. You're getting an automatic movement. I believe it is a Valjoux or Sellita base, probably a Sellita SW500 family. It is really nicely decorated. You get to see it from the case back, and you get a custom rotor. This comes in at $8,000 on a strap. It is available on the bracelet. I think that they look equally as good either on the strap or the bracelet. The bracelet is really nice. I like that they have upgraded the Supernova here. It looks so much better than it used to be. Although the old one did have an in-house movement, this one is a little bit nicer looking overall, in my opinion. I think it's just a really good looking watch. $8,000 on that strap. I think it's like $8,250 on the bracelet. I definitely would go with the bracelet. However, that strap is also really nice. Oris also had some really cool releases. Two of them that caught my eye was one, a 35mm Oris Star. This was a really true reissue of the original Oris Star, a watch that kind of changed the game. Back in the 1960s, there was a law that prevented innovation in Swiss watchmaking, which was meant to limit competition. But really, what ended up happening was limiting progression of Swiss watchmaking. So it kind of stopped people from innovating. And Oris worked really hard to reverse that law. And this watch is the watch that they made right after they reversed that law. So it looks almost exactly the same as the original. You're even getting a plexiglass crystal. It's 35mm. It has a very 1960s, 1970s barrel-shaped case. And you're getting a Sellita SW200 inside. Really cool watch. Actually wears really nicely. I got to get hands-on with this. I think it looks so good. They also came out with a really good looking moon phase dual time. And it's very symmetrical. There's a moon phase up at the 12 o'clock, the dual time function down at the 6 o'clock. And they're making these in a lot of really cool colors. A lot of the colors that Oris have been using are amazing. I love the colors that they're using in all of their new releases, especially in the Atelier line. So that's where this watch actually sits. They revamped the entire Atelier line. I really like this as well. This is coming in under $3,000, I think around $2,950. Finally, Grand Seiko have listened. They've come out with a smaller dive watch. This is the UFA Grand Seiko Diver. It gets a spring drive movement, very accurate. It's their smaller UFA movement. It also gets a power reserve. The power reserve is on the dial. I know some people will not like that. These are getting textured dials, applied indices, ceramic bezel, Zaratsu polishing, 300 meters of water resistance, 3-link bracelets, on-the-fly micro adjust. Everything that you want from a Grand Seiko diver, they have put into this watch. Finally, there are two different versions. There's the SLG B023 and the 025. Spring drives, good looking, capable divers that are under 46mm. So these are coming in well under 46mm at around 40.8mm. So really nicely sized dive watches, very functional, really good looking. Price on these, $12,000. They could have come in a little bit cheaper on these. I think it would have been a really good idea. They didn't. I thought that if they came in at around $10,000, this would have killed the competition. I get it, $12,000 kind of makes sense. Hopefully they come out with new versions of these on a regular basis. And for my last pick, IWC came out with one of the most un-IWC watches that I have seen them come out with in a very long time, and I really love it. I really love what IWC do in general. When I first saw it, I was a little bit confused, and then as I read more about the watch, I kind of fell in love. This is called the IWC Pilot's Venturer Vertical Drive. It's a completely new watch from IWC. It's a completely new case. It's an integrated bracelet. It's ceramic with a rubber strap. You have a ceratanium bezel. That bezel is actually the crown. This is also a dual time, so this is a GMT. It's a Traveler's GMT, and on the left side of the watch, there is a clutch. That clutch actually is what engages the GMT, the time, or winding. So you change the position of the clutch and then you use the bezel to change the time on the GMT, the local time, or you wind the watch. Really cool idea. It's not the first time it's been done. I think it looks so good on this watch. It has no crown, just that clutch on the left side of the watch. It's an incredibly clean design. It's black and white, so that dial and bezel are in black, the case and the strap are in white. Very, very clean design. This comes in at $29,000. Yes, this is a lot of money. However, this is a completely new movement that they've put in here. There's a lot of technology that's going into it, and I believe they're somehow getting this to the space station or something along those lines. A lot of other brands are trying to integrate space into their watches these days and future space travel. So a lot of brands want to get their watches into space somehow and capitalize on that. And here's yet another one. $29,000, a lot of money, but also a very cool watch. Tell me down in the comment section, are there any watches that you would add to this list? I am sure there are plenty. I will maybe do a second video in a couple of days of other releases when they are released. But these were my favorite releases so far. These are the ones that caught my eye. Tell me the ones that caught your eye down in the comment section below. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.